It is the final game of a busy day of J1 action. Welcome everybody to Panasonic Stadium Suita, where we are about to watch the bottom club, Gamba Osaka, take on the reigning champions, Yokohama F Marinos. Two of the original 10 founding members of this league 30 years ago, but currently operating at opposite ends of the table. Two-time champions Gamba Osaka now find themselves 4 points adrift at the foot of the standings, after losing their last 4 matches and only taking 1 point from 6 games coming into this, piling the pressure on Spanish coach Dani Poyatos, despite the fact he is in his first season in the job. The club, who only finished 1 point above the bottom 3 last year, have been heading in the wrong direction so far, at odds with expectations for a club who were treble winners less than a decade ago. Two of the J-League's founding members boasting 7 league titles between them, but Gamba Osaka and Yokohama F Marinos are currently separated by the majority of the J1 table. The Nerazzurri, with just 1 league win to their name this season, although it did come here against last year's runners-up, Kawasaki Frontale, last month. Now they are tasked with toppling the champions if they're not to get cut adrift at the bottom of the table. F Marinos arrive aiming to show last weekend's surprise setback at Albirex Niigata was merely an unexpected stumble after a long unbeaten sequence, rather than the start of something more serious. Tall order for Gamba Osaka to try and turn their fortunes around against the reigning champions. F Marinos won the J1 title last year for a 5th time, and need a win tonight to reclaim 2nd spot in the standings. A century of J1 appearances for Ryo Takao marked prior to kick-off here. And with such an impressive landmark in this league, the latest player to reach it, Tani, who begins on the bench. He's in a real battle for his starting spot in the Gamba Osaka goal this season, missing out to Masaki Higashiguchi. Well, they started the weekend second, did the F Marinos, but Nagoya Grampus' victory over Sanfrecce Hiroshima earlier today has seen the visitors slip a spot to 3rd. The Muscat's men needing to bounce back from that surprise defeat at Albirex Niigata, which ended an 8-game unbeaten run in all competitions, 6 of which they'd won. So the pre-match presentations almost concluded. The recent balance of power in this fixture much more even than you might imagine, given their respective fortunes over the last few seasons. Gamba Osaka have actually won 2 of the last 3 meetings, and were one of only 2 clubs to win away at F Marinos in 2022 in the J-League. They've actually won their 3 most recent visits to Nissan Stadium, but here in Suita it's been a different story. The Nerazzurri haven't beaten the Tricolor in a home league game since October of 2018. Gamba Osaka have made 4 changes from the 3-1 defeat at Urawa Reds last weekend, notably a first appearance of the season for Yota Sato at centre-back. He starts in J1 for the first time since a 1-0 win at today's opponents, F Marinos, back in November 2021. Shu Kurata makes the first start of this season, whilst Hideki Ishiga and Israeli international Neta Lavi return to the starting lineup. Yamamoto and Kwon missing out, with Sami and the former Manchester City man Ryotaro Meshino dropped to the bench. It's a 5th J1 game of the season for referee Hiroyuki Kimura, whose first was a Yokohama derby. He's been taking charge of matches in this league for over 13 years now. Toru Kakunuma is the video assistant referee this evening, looking after things in the booth. Just the two changes for Yokohama F Marinos from the surprise defeat at Amberex Niigata 6 days ago. Regular goalkeeper Yun Ishimori is on loan from Gamba Osaka, so doesn't play today against his parent club. It means a first league start of the season for Hiroki Ikura, who returned for a second spell at F Marinos for this year, having previously played over 200 times for them. The other change is in midfield, where Takuya Kida reclaims his regular starting role from Joel Shima Fujita, who reverts to the bench despite scoring his first goal of the season at Alberex last time out. Big pressure on Dani Poyatos after the wretched recent run of results, leaving his team adrift at the bottom. Kevin Muscat, who took his team to the title last season, expecting them to return to winning ways today after the disappointment of 6 days ago. Triple just under 500 kilometers west to Osaka from Yokohama, and the city of Suita in the north of this prefecture. The Panasonic Stadium Gamba Osaka's home since 2016, holding just under 40,000 fans, and a fitting stage for an occasion such as this. The champions in their change colours, in the white today. Gamba Osaka, the Nerazzurri, in the famous black and blue. Set for the start in Suita. Bottom against third from top in J1, but that barely begins to scratch the surface of the story in this famous fixture, as familiar adversaries Gamba Osaka and Yokohama F Marinos renew acquaintances for the first time this season. Plenty at stake for both sides at either end of the table. Really interesting to see how it settles down in these opening exchanges. Gamba Osaka did actually get themselves in front at Urawa Reds last weekend. Ended up losing it by 3-1. They weren't able to build on the opener scored by Issam Jabali, the Tunisian centre-forward, who will try and provide the focal point of the attack again. Very much a possession-based game employed under Dani Poyatos. Impressed with the ball for long spells this season, without being able to translate that into results. Costly individual errors at crucial times of games have been their downfall really so far. And the ball back well, high up the pitch here. This is Ishiga. Furukawa joining in with the attack from fullback. They did have plenty in the penalty area, not quite able to utilise their presence. Still the opportunity here, Riku Handa. Rated right back. Juan Alano is the one who whips it in, but straight through to Akura. And the involvement for the goalkeeper on his first league appearance of the season. He has started 2 of their 4 group games that they've played so far in the Levine Cup, the League Cup competition. His only involvement since returning to his former side from Vissel Kobe for this season. It's a good ball in again by Juan Alano. It's a good start from Gamba Osaka. A little more menacing this time. Much more expected of the Nerazzurri than we've seen from them so far this season. There's always likely to be something of a transitional campaign under Poyatos. Not enough signs of progress as yet. Conceded here. It's an all-Brazilian front 3 for Yokohama F Marinos. Jan Mateus has been the form player of late since breaking into the starting lineup over the course of the last 3 matches, scoring 3 goals during that span. Anderson Lopez the top scorer on 7. He and Elbert have started every league game so far this year. Handa. One of the threats so far coming down that side of the field. Handa had time to try and set his sights and deliver the cross. His form in his first J1 season has already earned him a senior call-up by Japan back in March. substitute for both of the friendlies that they played in the Kirin Cup. Gives you an indication of how his standing is on the rise since joining in January from Montedio, his hometown club. Yamagata. Shiga's going to take the corner. Delivers it deep. They committed plenty forward for it. It's convincingly cleared away. And only Kurokawa really had stayed back. He's the only player in this Gamba Osaka side, the left-back Kazuki Kurokawa, who has started every league game, all 14 of them so far this season now. A little bit of space here, though, for F Marinos. Young would have been disappointed with that. Had a bit more room in which to work. Milano slipping it into space. Ishige takes over. Jabali on the move in the middle is the target, and he gets his head to it. Nearly, but not quite, for Gamba Osaka and Issam Jabali. Look at the room in which they had to operate down the right. It's been a familiar theme in these first 5 minutes. Did score last week, Jabali, the opening goal against Urawa Reds. Reigning Champions League winners, of course. It was only his second goal for Gamba Osaka since signing from OP Odense in Denmark for this season. Off the back of a World Cup campaign in Qatar with Tunisia. Monolano, here is Jabali. Most attention being paid to him. And again, the opportunity for the counter-attack. Slip through where Jabali had made the run, and he gets to it ahead of Ikora. The goal is gaping, and he's found it beautifully. Kept his composure, but the flag is up. And I think he rather suspected it might be. Will be checked by VAR. He just went a fraction too soon, I think, looking at that. If anybody was playing him on, it would have been that super up on the far side of the field. I don't think it's going to count. Really scared for the champions, though. Kimura just waiting for word from Toru Kakinuma, who is the video assistant referee, currently having a look at the footage. The check is still ongoing, which suggests it's fairly close. It was offside. Confirmation after the check, so no goal. Strong start for Gamba Osaka, though. You wouldn't know from the early exchanges today that these sides are at opposite ends of the table. Going towards Anderson Lopez, trying to dig it out from under his feet. The top scorer hasn't scored in his last 4 matches, though. 11 goals last season. He was their joint leading marksman in taking the title in Leo Ciara. Moved on to Cerezo Osaka. Anderson Lopez racing to 7 goals for this season through his first 9 league matches. Productivity has just slowed somewhat, as mentioned, over the last few games. But Elber and Jan Mateus either side of him in that all-Brazilian front three, also on 4 goals each so far in the J1 season. They have remained a real threat in front of goal. Top scorers at home this season, they've not quite been as prolific on their travels. Managing 11 from the 7 away games that they've played so far. Here is Elber. key part of the team that took the title last year when he made the J1 Best 11. It was a team broken up to a certain extent as a result of its success. It was a similar case last year when they started slowly, something of a new-look lineup. Went on a wonderful run about this time of the year to hit top spot and never look back. They're getting a foot in. Here's Kida alongside him in midfield. Win today, they'd be back within 3 points of the leaders. Vissel Kobe, somewhat surprisingly held at Kashiwa Racehall earlier in the day. The win is required to move back into second spot above Nagoya Grampus, and they've left themselves a little bit open here. Didn't quite reach Juan Alano. But here's Handa. Now Juan Alano has it. Jabali heavily involved in these early exchanges. Sees that one blocked away. Albert inviting the pressure, but winning the free kick. Challenge on him was by his compatriot, Juan Alano. Second season since signing last summer from Kashima Antlers. Missed the first game of this season, Juan Alano, but he has started every league game since then. This is Matsupara. Looking for Anderson Lopez. Jabali. Strong with back to goal, and it looked like it might be opening up there before the challenge from Matsupara, which has cost him a caution. The Gamba Osaka players wanted even greater punishment to be applied. Certainly felt that that was the challenge he had to make, although it was more a clipping of the heels, really, rather than an attempt to win the ball from Ken Matsupara. First name taken today. Can't have any complaints over that. It's a promising position for the free kick. It would have perhaps been an even more promising position but for that intervention from Matsupara. Ikura in goal. Osaka will be looking to test him out here. Vastly experienced keeper at the age of 36. Used on the bench for the previous 12 matches before coming into the team today, with Shimura, of course, on loan from Gamba Osaka, where he spent the last 3 seasons. Doesn't feature against his parent club. All sorts of options here for the Nerazzurri. A dozen minutes in, it's been a bright start from them. Can they capitalise upon that here? It was well defended initially. Kept everybody back in position really behind the ball, F Marinos. Again was just beaten to it. There's a flag up. It's been a source of early frustration for Issam Jabali. Signed a 3-year contract when he joined in January. That was also a very close call. Even closer, I think, than the one that saw his earlier effort disallowed. It's the major talking point of the match thus far. Too much on that for Juan Alano. The champions have been looking vulnerable at the back. Just the 2 away clean sheets this season, but they both came in the League Cup competition. Sagantosu and Chupalo Awata haven't managed one on their travels in J1 this season. shutout away from home in their last 8 games, dating back to October at Nagoya Grampus last season. Here's Elbert. Working with Eduardo, the Brazilian centre-back. Very strong Brazilian influence throughout this F Marinos team. Not alone in that in Japanese football. Trying to patiently pick a way through here. Nagato. In that inverted fullback role. He did it well. Yan. Anderson Lopez. It's the first really prolonged period of possession that Yokohama F Marinos have had in the Gamba Osaka half in the game. Ultimately, it comes to nothing. Elbert's got it back. Just closing down came Davan. Another of the Brazilians on show. He's actually the defensive midfield player, the top scorer for Gamba Osaka in their side. With 3 league goals so far this season, most of which came in the derby against Cerezo. 2-1 defeat was their last home game at the start of the month. Beat at Nagoya Grampus and Urawa Red since then. 3 of their last 4 games have been away from home. Lost just 2 of 6 here so far. Got a free kick to defend in their dangerous territory. Nagato is going to take it. Plenty to try and pick out in the penalty area. Deeper delivery from Nagato. Eduardo was his far post target there, still battling for it. It's the throw rather than the corner that was conceded. It's completed just before it went beyond the byline. Supera looking for options in wide. Quite a lot of movement in front of him. It's Netalavi back there. This time it will be a corner. Started the season captaining Maccabi Haifa in the group stages of the UEFA Champions League. Netalavi joined in January. 12 times by Israel. An important figure in the part of the Nerazzurri midfield. See what F Marinos can come up from the corner. Jabali back in his own box is the one who rose to meet it. And the referee with a decision to make, both players going for the ball. Only had a split second or so to react to that. See, each only had eyes on the ball as well, right in front of the referee. Shiga is the one that appears to have come off the worst in the confrontation. Former Asian Young Player of the Year. A dozen years ago now. We'll restart with the drop ball. Davan was on loan last season from Santa Rita in Brazil, made it permanent ahead of this year. It's a 9th consecutive league start for him today. Under is the target. He's the furthest forward from full-back. Did well to reach it, did equally well to keep it in play. Support now from Juan Alano. He's looking for Jabali. There's Matsubara across with the covering header, and now it's Elbert trying to launch the counter-attack. Stopped in its infancy by the challenge on him. There's some tempo to the game, though. Metalavi once more operating the heart of that midfield, deepest lying really off the midfield three. He's unable to get a bit further forward. Once more, Jabali's the target. Once more, it's a nearly but not quite moment for Gamba Osaka. See where they are looking the most likely, though. Here's a poor run that they're on. They haven't won in 7 games in all competitions. Only 2 victories in the last 13. Press high where possible here. Elbert. A bit more space now. And Mateus. Anderson Lopez was just behind him, but he was able to make something of it and help it into the path of Jan. He couldn't quite find the finish. He's the form player in front of goal of late. 3 in his last 3. The former Palmeiras player. Looking to link with his compatriot Anderson Lopez. Just touched it deliberately into his path to take on the shot first time, outside of the boot. Couldn't keep it down. Season at the club, he was used primarily off the bench. In fact, he came on as a substitute in the first 10 league games of the season, but he's started the last 4 now. He found his form in front of goal. Ronaldo winning it twice in the air against Jabali. He'll have to do so once more, helped out by Hatanaka. It's Riku Handa that had launched it long and asked the questions. Davan winning it back only briefly in midfield. And nobody really, it seems, can keep hold of it for too long. Fairly frantic opening quarter of the contest, almost concluded. They have scored in all 8 of their home games in all competitions this season. Gamba Osaka. At the other end, where they've had the majority of their issues this season. Certainly given as good as they've got, Gamba Osaka, in this opening quarter. For the vast majority of their matches this year, though. They've been right in the thick of things in most of those games and not been able to go on and win them. Their only victory was a notable one against last season's runners-up, a team that F Marinos picked to the title. They were the reigning champions at the time, Kawasaki Frontale. Beat them by 2-0. Davan and Wanalano scored the goals in either half, and that has been very much the exception rather than the rule this year. The 2014 treble winners, a remarkable season that Gamba Osaka had. They've not hit those sort of heights since, and they could be stretched here. Nakamura. His Just wide. Takuma Nishimura. The World Cup had gone all the way with him, sticking to his task. A really strong start to the season, Takuma Nishimura. Scored in the Super Cup success against Van Kofi. That was a trophy that they won for the first time in their history, and indeed in the opening victory against Kawasaki Frontale, with which they started the season. That earned him a Japanese call-up in March. He was a goalscorer actually against Uruguay in the friendly for his country. So I didn't get the decision that they were hoping for a moment ago there. Yokohama F Marinos back on the ball. Anderson Lopez has come much wider to get involved this time. There is Eduardo. Fourth straight start for him at centre-back. Former Frontale player. Able to come away with it, despite the fact that Ishige was on the floor. Touch for Kida. Breather on the bench last week, reclaiming his regular starting spot. Despite the fact his replacement, Fujita, scored his first goal of the season. And a surprise defeat against Albirex Niigata. He actually put them in front in the last minute of the first half. And conceded twice in 10 second half minutes to slip to a defeat that very few had predicted beforehand. Moved on quickly, says Kevin Muscat, though he felt there was a lot that his team could learn from that performance. Certainly not one that they would want to dwell on though. Only their third league loss of the season through the first 13 games. The 6-match unbeaten run in J1. Supera working it wider. Starting to see more of the ball now, those in white. Currently being very patient with it. Just a bit too much on the throw from Matsupara for Jan Mateus. Certainly see what he was trying. And he took the title in his first full season in the job, Kevin Muscat, last year, having arrived in the summer of 2021 to replace Ange Postecoglou. Now know will be returning to Yokohama with Celtic for a friendly in the summer, 19th of July. We'll see the Scottish champions take on Yokohama F Marinos at Nissan Stadium. Celtic with 5 Japanese players in their ranks. It's one of a couple of high-profile friendly games that F Marinos will play this summer, because it's also been announced this week that they will meet Manchester City in the J.League World Challenge, 23rd of July at the National Stadium in Tokyo. Part of the City football group, of course, both of those two sides. Here's the opportunity. Ishiga playing it forward first time. Jabali was able to bring it down. Couldn't quite get his shot away as intended, though. It was blocked really as soon as it left his boot. That came about with the Tricolor losing both possession and concentration for a moment after a previously prolonged period of possession. Illustrating the dangers for them here. This time they get the free kick. By Elber, he's appealing for handball. He didn't appear to give it initially, but he has given it now. Against F Marinos, one of a couple that Manchester City will play in Japan this summer. They're also due to meet Bayern Munich, also at the National Stadium in Tokyo 3 days later. Some high-profile games against Europe's big clubs to look forward to over the course of the summer. Kida working it wider. Anderson Lopez will be the target here, and importantly, Fukuoka just got his head to it first. His 4th start of the season. That's 4 more than Yota Sato alongside him had until today. New look centre-back partnership. Kenta Miura and Kwon Kyung-won, both missing from the squad today. Have been regulars at the start of the season. Opting for changes though, such as their position. There's the corner, in by Nagato. Might get another go. Katsuya Nagato in space to sling it in again. He does so dangerously. By Watanabe in midfield. He got his head to it first, but then was beaten to the loose ball. And it will break instead for Ishiga, who's looking for some support here. Provided by Juan Alano. This was held up considerably by Nagato. So everybody in white to get back behind the ball again. Half an hour in Suita. That's well worked by Gamba Osaka. And they did have both Jabali and Ishiga arriving. Quite find either of them. Throw to Watanabe coming under pressure. Takuya Kida has more space. There's Elbert. Such a threat cutting in from that left flank. Supera. Mateus is looking pretty tight to the touchline just at the moment. Kida. By Netalavi. Go to Watanabe. Elbert. Touch too many, maybe. But Eduardo is there to pick up the pieces, and F Marinos could come again yet. Just asserting their authority in the last few minutes. Osaka, a team that do love to have the ball. Toyota's prioritises possession, but they haven't been able to get hold of it, or at least keep hold of it in the last few minutes. Not for long anyway. Because F Marinos also love to have the ball. Style of play familiar really throughout the City Football Group clubs. Noticeable similarities in style. There's Yamateus. He's in towards Nishimura. Elbert. Nagato wasn't quite where he thought he was. Eduardo reaching it ahead of Issam Jabali, but it's kept in by Juan Alano, albeit deep inside his own territory this time. Now Riku Handa. 4 years with his hometown side, Montedio Yamagata. Played over 100 league games for them in J2 before taking the step up this season, which he seems to have taken in his stride, despite his team's struggles at the foot of the standings. Jabali gets the decision. Back by Yota Sato, who's had to be patient in waiting for his opportunity this season. Many expected it might have come a little earlier than it has. This is his 4th season with the first team squad. He spent last year out on loan in J2 with Vegalta Sendai. He'd only made the bench once before this season in J1. Starting a match at this level for the first time since they won by a goal to nil at Yokohama F Marinos, the 3rd of November 2021. He made 2 appearances off the bench last season before going out on loan. Yamates, he did well there to take it in his stride, takes on Kurakawa, delivers dangerously. Anderson Lopez was attacking it, as he always does. Couldn't quite profit from it. He did really well here, controlling it and then providing the cross, which just cleared the head of Nishimura. Anderson Lopez behind him did make contact, but couldn't quite control it. Such an important player for Kevin Muscat's side. Playing in this league for the 7th season now. Only his 2nd year with F Marinos, having been integral in them taking the title in his first. This is Nishimura. Oh, neatly done by Albert Yan. Supra trying to return it. Anderson Lopez was his target. He didn't really return it with the requisite degree of conviction, though. He found himself well advanced from fullback Ken Matsupara. Lovely bit of skill, wasn't there, from Elbert just prior to that. There's Yan. Matsupara does have 1 cap for his country. Came a couple of years ago. He was a goal scorer against Kashima Antlers earlier this season, his only goal of the current campaign. But as we've seen, he does love to get forward from fullback. Tanabe, Yan taking over. That's well worked. Anderson Lopez, and it almost deflected favourably into the path of Nagato. Plenty of options for them here. Nishimura was at the heart of it. It was he that went down. It was Anderson Lopez that had the shot. Nishimura just asking the question of the referee, Kimura. Taking a tumble prior to Anderson Lopez getting his shot away. Shot that could have fallen anywhere, really, after the deflection. They have to settle for the corner. Swinging delivery, brilliant header. Opening goal for the champions. And it's Nishimura who scored it. Their pressure pays off. 3rd goal of the season for Takuma Nishimura. And Yokohama F Marinos in front at bottom of the table, Gamba Osaka. It's an excellent delivery. It was a well-timed run from Nishimura, just to get in front of his man and guide the header home. Doesn't score too many like that, as he rose with Riku Handa. Got the all-important touch ahead of Handa. Reward for the champions from a first half. But Gamba Osaka started strongly, but the F Marinos have begun to get a grip on, and that is certainly the case now. Having edged ahead at such an important stage of the contest. So scored at the start of the month in the 4-1 victory against Kyoto Sanga, did Nishimura. And as mentioned, started the season so strongly. goals in the Super Cup and against Kawasaki Frontale on the opening day. He also scored on his last appearance of last season to clinch the title in the victory at Vissel Kobe. Some big goals in recent memory for Nishimura, and particularly in the context of what happened last week. That could be another one. Of course, last week they also led at a similar stage of the first half and ended up losing the game. So they'll go in search of the second here, looking to sustain this strong spell and make the most of it. Watanabe. Eduardo working it wider for Nagato. Nagato will size up the cross. As far as Matsupara, just delayed the shot a fraction. Saw it charge down pretty quickly. Hatanaka. Eduardo. Now Elbert as we approach the final 5 of the first half. In by Elbert again, it was the merest of touches, but it was almost another really important touch. This wasn't wide by much. Put himself in an excellent position again, Nishimura. Gamba Osaka haven't really got to grips with the threat that he is providing. He did score, Nishimura, in F Marinos' victory here last season when they won by 2-1. Came from behind actually in that game. Devan had put Gamba Osaka in front. Kota Mizunuma went on to score the winning goal. He's amongst the tricolor substitutes today. Ishiga did reach it. Fairly speculative delivery that followed from him. So it's now for Nagato. Watanabe. Hatanaka. 6th season as part of the senior side for the centre-back. Yokohama-born Shinosuke Hatanaka. He's established a regular role this season, certainly he's started every league game. Only he, Anderson Lopez and Elbert can say that this season. Alano setting off in pursuit of that, and he will continue to apply the pressure. Nishimura lost it. Almost came for Kurata. And now for Jabali. Davan working it wider, Wadalano. But 3 in the penalty area. By Davan again. Not quite been good enough in that part of the pitch yet. To an extent, that sums up some of their struggles this season. Under Danny Poyatos, who had 2 years in charge of his previous club, Tokushima Vortis. He was relegated actually from J1 in the first of those seasons after replacing Ricardo Rodriguez. He finished 8th in J2 last season. 85 games he had at the helm. The side struggling this season, struggling again here. Surviving the scare on that occasion. Before coming to Japan, he only had one previous managerial post, Danny Poyatos, with Panathinaikos in Greece. And it lasted just 3 games. He signed a 2-year contract in the summer of 2020. Took 1 point from those first 3 games and left by mutual consent. Stellar CV coaching in the youth ranks, though. Initially at his hometown team, Espanyol. Did so on a couple of occasions at Real Madrid, with the Bahrain national team as well. He assisted Yuri Cruyff at Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. So high when he was appointed by Gamba Osaka ahead of this year, that he could implement his possession-based game. Not really had enough of the ball today, but for the important challenge of Fukuoka, Anderson Lopez would have been in on goal. Supera, Watanabe. There is an element of authority about those in wide-in possession now. They did have to withstand a difficult opening to the game. Osaka really began it on the front foot. Marinos have seemingly settled down to their task. The control aided, of course, by the goal from Nishimura that separates them, and looks increasingly likely it will separate them at half-time. So we're not pressing quite so high at the moment. Perhaps themselves hoping just to get in at the interval and reassess the situation. There's just one added minute away now. Takuyakida. Anderson Lopez again had made that dangerous run. And Fukuoka had read his intentions. Risky here because he didn't appear to get the ball. Shota Fukuoka hurt himself in the process. Making a third straight start at the back. Joins of Anderson Lopez causing all sorts of issues. Himself in a difficult situation in the centre back. The half-time whistle, maybe more than F Marinos do right now. It is imminent. It will come only after this corner. One last chance of the half, maybe, for the tricolour. By Nagato. Couldn't quite reach it, and the free kick is conceded. Be that for the first half, which Gamba Osaka started brightly, but they trail at the break. Takuma Nishimura with the game's only goal so far. A header from a corner, and a spell of the game where Yokohama F Marinos were just beginning to exert their authority. You will know from the painfully recent memory of last weekend that there is still much work to do, and they let slip a half-time lead against Albirex Niigata. So far so good for the champions here, Gamba Osaka, as they head for the tunnel at the interval, currently contemplating what would be a fifth successive defeat at the bottom of the table. Big second half in store for both. At the break here, it is Gamba Osaka 0, Yokohama F Marinos 1.
シャルパートナーの紹介をいたします。パナソニックホールディングス株式会社、ロート製薬、ダイセン、メイクニューパナソニック、ヒュンメル、シップヘルスケアホールディングス、東洋タイヤ、セブンイレブンジャパン、スカイ株式会社、ストラーダ、エボンカネオ、吹田市、ギア、昭和加工株式会社、竹中工務店、三井住友銀行、SCSK、バンコブアメリカ、ジアイーノ、大健工業、大阪モノレール、平成医療学園、明治安田生命、アサヒビール、大手門学院大学、定年産業、学習塾ドリームチーム、トヨタモビリティ新大阪、中田醸造機械、西鉄旅行、シフトプラス、コカ・コーラボトラーズジャパン、エキスポシティ、その他ご覧のパートナーにご支援いただいております。
本日はモクレムデーです。今日はスペシャルなゲストにお越しいただいております。モクレムダンス主題歌を歌っていただいております高岡亮子さん、振り付けを担当いただきました花さんにモクレムダンスを生パフォーマンスしていただきます。皆様も一緒にダンス手拍子をお願いします。こんばんは、高岡亮子です。私が歌わせていただいておりますジャンピンバッピンモク ご覧の会員番号の方が当選となりました。なお、場内総合案内所や観客ブース、ガンバ大阪オフィシャルツイッターでも当選番号を確認できます。当選者の方は試合終了から30分後までにファンクラブブースまでお越しください。
さあ、まもなく後半開始となります。まずサポーターの皆さん、チームとともに戦ってください。素晴らしい応援をどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
So almost set for the start of the second half at Panasonic Stadium Suita. It's been a familiar story for Gamba Osaka so far. Having played well for long spells, having started strongly but failed to get their goal, and then conceding at a crucial time in the contest. Means they have it all to do if they are to avoid what would be a fifth consecutive defeat at the foot of the table. Their prospects not helped by F Marinos' local rivals Yokohama FC seemingly finding their form of late. They won for the third time in 4 earlier today against Kawasaki Frontale. Something of a surprise result. For Gamba Osaka, trying to drift somewhat at the foot at the moment. 4 points behind Shonan Belmare, who are now second from bottom. There's Palmer pressure on Danny Poyatos. This crucial stage of his first season in charge, how his team need to find a second half response here. We are off and underway once again then. As the Nerazzurri, Gamba Osaka, who get the action restarted once more. They find themselves a little unfortunate to be behind at this stage. As I say, that has been a recurring theme of their season so far. They need to try and script a different ending today. Some bold selection decisions by Poyatos ahead of the game. Only really be justified if his team do go on and earn some tangible reward. Some of those decisions, many will feel, though, might be a little overdue. It's understandable that he has opted to mix things up tonight. And they did start strongly. Ball in the net, of course, through Jabali, which was ruled out for offside. Given the ball away here in dangerous territory as well. Elbert will get it back again. Anderson Lopez was on the move ahead of him. It's an important challenge from Davan to stop him. Changes from either team at the interval as Jabali advances. Showed a bit too much of it to Hatanaka, and then comes away with the ball. Gamba Osaka wanted a free kick, felt there was a foul in there. Referee was in a decent position and has let it go. Supera to Jan Mateus. Still continuing the complaints, the Nerazzurri players. Milano has stayed down. He was on the receiving end. Let's have another look at this. Oh yeah, he didn't get the ball, did he? Hatanaka. He got a fair bit of Alano on the ankle. Despite the referee's proximity, perhaps the angle that he had would have been difficult to detect that. Certainly a painful one for Alano, who looked as likely as anybody for Gamba Osaka to create the opportunity that they needed in that first half, and that they desperately need in this second half. He was off the floor, and he was late arriving. As a free kick at the time by referee Kimura. Concern amongst the Gamba Osaka supporters for Alano at the moment. He's somebody that they need back to his feet pretty quickly. Won't want to have to turn to his bench at this juncture. Danny Poyatos. Alternatives today include Ryotaro Meshino, Yuya Fukuda and Musashi Suzuki. Experienced midfield player Takeshi Usami only on the bench as well. But is he going to come to the pitchside monitor? It's not a surprise that he is. Going to have a look at this, maybe. This could be a red card. I think from what we've seen, it wouldn't be a surprise if it were to be a red card for Shinosuke Hatanaka. Didn't appear completely in control of the challenge, and he got man, not ball. Studs were showing. Has been recommended for a review by Toru Kakanuma, the video assistant referee, which adds to the likelihood that we could see a red. This is all down to the interpretation of referee Kimura now. He's having a lengthy look at the footage. Doesn't look any prettier the more you see it, does it? will come the decision. Having studied various angles of it on the video review. It's a yellow card. Lengthy check, no red. Let's see what Danny Pliatas thinks about it. That's a huge call at a crucial stage of the contest. He didn't even give the free kick initially, referee Kimura. It was recommended for a video review, but he's shown yellow, not red, to Hatanaka. His manager Kevin Muscat, of course, though stranger to the card down the years during his playing days. 123 yellows and 12 reds for Kevin Muscat down the years. I think there was an expectation inside the stadium when he went to review it that that would be a red for Hatanaka. Muscat may be making the point that VAR should only intervene for red card situations. Often that you see a yellow given in situations like that. Monolano back into the action, for which Gamba Osaka will be grateful. A big talking point early in the second half. Let's see how things settle down from here. There is still a free kick to follow, which has now, of course, been awarded after the review. Promising position for the home team. Jabali fancies it by the looks of things. It is Jabali, but it's straight at the wall. Wasn't a great deal of conviction. Came back to him to have another go, and this time it'll be a corner. They do need a bit more from the main man up front, Issam Jabali. Significant investment in him, not just for this season, but in giving him a 3-year contract when bringing him in from Danish football. Goals in that 13 caps he has for Tunisia. All 3 Greek games at the World Cup for them. Be an obvious target here from the corner that he's helped to win. Didn't get that far though. Didn't beat the first man. It was Elbert who diverted it away from immediate danger. He will continue to try and apply the pressure here. Gamba Osaka are forced back into their own half with Kurokawa and now Netalavi. Shimmies into a little bit of space here, Lavi. That ball either at the end of it. This is Kurata. They're back defending. And Gamba Osaka have started the second half strongly, just as they did the first. Have been short on this season, there is belief, which is why they have to capitalise when they're on top. They didn't do that in the first period. That's why this is such a fascinating stage of the game. They've played some good stuff this season without the end product in terms of results. Would not appear to be on Danny Pliatas' side either, if they don't get something today. It's going to be a tough one for them, of course, though, against the reigning champions, with a point to prove of their own after last week's surprise setback. Kurokawa. For Jabali. Intervention was by Matsubara. towards Anderson Lopez. It didn't quite reach him. And Alavi brings it clear. Flicked by Ishiga, and there's the opportunity here on the counter. Jabali. There's one Alano calling for it. It didn't quite get that far. He had Ishiga calling for it as well. They were both desperately trying to get there in support of Jabali. They're appealing for the handball. This was blocked away. What did it strike? I think that would be harsh. It was Eduardo, the defender, who got back in the way to cut out the cross. One for VAR to check as a matter of course. Much going Danny Puyatas' way so far. A spirited showing from his side today. Check still ongoing for the possible penalty. Big appeals from all of those Gamba Osaka players who were in the vicinity at the time. Bounce up off the hip first. The arm was outstretched initially, then straight up in the air, bringing the arm back down towards the ball. The initial reaction was that would have been harsh. And that appears to have been the reaction of the video assistant referee as well, because after the check, no penalty. Corner kick instead, taken by Kurata. Awkward one for Ikura. Kept in play by Issam Jabali. Just overstretched himself a little bit. Albert tries to bring it clear. He was caught. It'll be a card, I think, yep. For the challenge on Albert. That's all going on. And it's been a very eventful start to the second half. Shota Fukuoka was the defender who came across here, rather cynically. If he didn't get him first time with the initial challenge, he then tumbled into his path to make sure. And the yellow card for Fukuoka is the result of that. First Gamba Osaka name taken today. That's Subura who was furious. There's a yellow card here as well. And Matsubara already has one. He's off here. Well, Gamba Osaka, I think, felt that he was fortunate to stay on the field in the first half when he only saw yellow. But it's his reaction, it would seem, that's talked him into trouble here. Or is it that? No, that's the initial challenge when the arm came across and caught Kurata. He will argue it was accidental. He was walking such a fine disciplinary tightrope anyway after what happened in the first half. So he's sent off. Gamba Osaka will have the extra player here just minutes after it appeared that they could well go down to 10. So Kevin Muscat will have to reorganise now. Hatanaka stayed on after the review. Got a yellow card earlier in the second half, but it's a second yellow for Matsubara here, and he heads down the tunnel. Might just change matters. Over half an hour of the 90 still to play. There'll be a fair bit more to add on at the end of the 90, given the way that this game is going already. So plenty of time for Gamba Osaka. Fascinating to see how they can try and utilise this situation now. Milano touching it wider. Rikuhanda. Davan. Sato. Kurokawa well advanced. And still going here before cutting back the cross. And the header from Davan straight at the goalkeeper. But they're getting closer. And F Marinos' lead is certainly looking a fragile one right now. Does have 3 goals this season. Davan, nobody has more actually for Gamba Osaka in their starting lineup today than the Brazilian. There's Netalavi. Block is by Hatanaka. Well, he was close, either side of the goalkeeper, and it could have been a very different story. Cool heads required from the champions at this stage of the game. Most of his duties in this second half have primarily been defensive ones, which tells something of the story. Let's try and slow things down a little bit. They are going to make a change, no surprise here, and bring on another centre-back. Kamijima coming on, and they are sacrificing Jan Mateus. There's an attacking outlet, which is understandable in the circumstances. New signing for this season, Takumi Kamijima, coming from Kashiwa Reysol. He's only started the once, it's a 7th time off the bench. And Mateus, who's got 3 goals in his last 3 games, will not extend that total. He's operated on the periphery for a large extent of the game anyway today. Looks like Kamijima will slot in at right back after the sending off of Matsubara. Gilbert to Anderson Lopez. Anderson Lopez almost in. Yoto Sato stuck to his task, got a foot in, importantly. Still pose a real threat, even with a player short. I suspect if Marinos can't get their second goal, then so fragile is the confidence in the Narazzurri count, and it might be enough even with 10. Still a fairly big if. Did score from the corner in the first half. Nishimura's clever header, which is currently still separating the sides. Defending his own box, gets it away this time. So we got very scrappy in this second half. You can certainly sense what's at stake though. Constant involvement in possession for Kamijima. Here he is again. The flick didn't quite come off as intended. Shimura unable to profit. Kamijima getting involved in some afters as well, with Kurata, the Gamba Osaka captain. The experienced midfield player making his first start of the season. Came through the youth ranks here back in 2007. Kurokawa. Gamba Osaka just need a little spell on the ball. Try and impose themselves on the game. Try and utilise the numerical advantage that they have. Can they lift themselves again, the home team here? Looking for a first win in 8 games in all competitions. How they need one today. They still have over a quarter of the game to try and turn this around. Nishimura to Anderson Lopez. He turned into trouble there. Gamba Osaka have it back. Wanalano, support from Kurakawa. Well held by Ikura. Down at the feet of Jabali. Likely to get a bit busier, Hiroki Ikura. Gamba Osaka will certainly see to it that he does. Different goalkeeper that F Marinos have fielded in the league this season after Paul Obina-Opik began the first 2 games. He's back on the bench today, by the way. Most of Ikura's work so far has been relatively routine, including that header from Davan that was straight at him. Enough signs to suggest that that could certainly change. Kurakawa. Wanalano. Oh, he's done well here. Just to get goal side of Kamijima. Before Matanaka closed the door. The legs of the defender, a lovely little bit of skill and awareness from Wanalano. Just all the way through from there. Be grateful not to have conceded the corner, the tricolour. Lost the ball in dangerous territory. This is Wanalano. He's looking for Jabali. Just broke behind Ishiga. To be a real test of defensive discipline and diligence for the champions with the 10. That they haven't kept an away clean sheet in the league this season. They've done so in the last 8 games on their travels, dating back to the start of October last year. Jabali to chase it. Ikura had just enough of a head start to bravely get to it first. Just getting a bit more involved now, though. It won't be long before we see changes from the home team. Marinos free kick here with Nishimura down. Mentioned that treble in 2014 when they won the League Cup, the Emperor's Cup and the J1 title in their first season after promotion. Shukurata was a key member of that side. Nearly half a century of appearances across all competitions that year. Still the challenges come thick and fast. The referee reaching for his pocket again. Complaints from Anderson Lopez. Yellow card. Kurakawa quickly back to his feet, which is good to see. Got nowhere near the ball, Anderson Lopez. He's named the latest one taken in what is rapidly turning into a feisty affair. No surprise in that, I guess. Seto. Kurokawa. 5th season out of university, ever present at left back this season. Ishiga. Kurokawa once more. A break for Netalavi. Suzwana Lano. There's Handa outside of him. Lano gets it back, Elbert is with him. Down by Kurokawa, who in turn was then brought down by Kamijima. Rather clumsily. Rather cynically looking at that, but no card it would appear for Kamijima. Could have been the latest name taken, looking at that replay. Difficult game it's developing into for referee Kimura, vastly experienced official. 13 years in this league, he needs all of that experience just at the moment. Is standing over it. It's his 2nd season at the club since he signed from Shimizu S-Pulse. Favourable option for him here to try and bend that one in. It's well defended in the circumstances. As there were plenty of runners, plenty of targets. They have to settle for the corner, which Ishiga takes quickly this time. And by Kurata. Not just as decisively though. Has it back again, Shukurata. Created some space for himself. Out as far as Netalavi. Get it back again here. 8 years he had with Maccabi Haifa. Kurokawa. Carefully done by Nishimura. Still currently is cast in the role of match winner after his first half goal. That lead looking such a slender one right now, and we are going to see changes from Gamba Osaka. In pursuit of parity here, they're going to bring on Takashi Usami. So Kurata makes way, he'll hand over the armband as well, I think, in the process. I'm surprised that he hasn't gone the distance today, and Ishiga coming off as well. Yuya Fukuda is on in his place. Hasn't been in the squad in the last 5 matches, returning to the party today, and into the action he comes. We will see a double change from F Marinos as well. Marcos Jr. and Joel Shima Fujita are on. Elbert and the goal scorer Nishimura making way. There is no more that he can do. Marcos Jr. regular off the bench. It's the 9th time we've seen him as a sub this season. Started the 4 times. Fujita did start and score in defeat against Alvarez Nagata last time out. He's on for the completion to try and help his team over the line. It must seem like an awful lot of work for them still to do to get there today in the circumstances. Here is Wanalano. Step clear as far as Usami. It's his first touch, and then his second touch is to hit one goalwards. Not quite troubling the target. And invitingly at his feet, didn't it, to tempt him into the shot. He's had 3 goals from midfield this season. Second spell at the club. He returned from Augsburg in 2019. Did have big injury issues last year. The goalkeeper Higashiguchi set out long spells of last season. Fit again throughout this one. Both now on the field. As Gamba Osaka try and salvage some reward from at times an enterprising display, a display that has promised much but as yet delivered little. Certainly not the first time this season that they've said that. They have the extra player on the field here. They still have time to alter the outcome today. If they can do that, it may alter the outcome of their season. Asami has made the run, he's been heavily involved since he came on. Not to get Suzuki maybe into the action later as well. There's another regular attacking option off the bench. Look at the record in the last 15 minutes of games this season. Scored a goal at this stage of a contest. They've led in 6. To turn their fortunes around, then that has to change today. This will come for Jabali. Maybe he shouldn't have done. Can he make the most of it? Usami. Fukuda slings in the cross. Everybody really back behind the ball for Yokohama F Marinos, including Anderson Lopez, who's trying to lead a one-man counter. Didn't have support arriving from Marcos Jr. He then was caught, having covered really good ground. To not just relieve the pressure that had been building on his own team's penalty area, to give the Gamba Osaka defence something to think about at the other end as he attempted to go all the way through them. It's just pulled back by Usami. He's got the yellow card as a result of that, and having only just come on today, it is a costly caution for him. This is 4th of the season already, so it will spell a 1-match suspension. Marinos won't be in any great hurry. Such an experienced side, albeit a much changed team from the one that took the title last year. They lost Tomoki Iwata, the J.League Player of the Year, to Celtic. Ciara and Tomohita Nakagawa also departed to domestic rivals. Within 3 points of the summit if they can win this, and they look for the second goal. They score the second goal in style that might just secure the victory. Nagato caught it so sweetly. It's beyond Higashiguchi, and Yokohama F Marinos, with 10 players on the field, have doubled their lead in super style from the free kick. Higashiguchi left bemused in goal though, and so too his coach on the sidelines. The goalkeeper deceived. The spin on the ball as he swung that left boot at it. It rose and then it dipped, but Higashiguchi, having got across, may feel he should have saved it. Some way for Katsuya Nagato to score his first goal of the season though. Such a significant one. Against the balance of play, F Marinos have breathing space now at 2-0 in front. And that is such a blow for Gamba Osaka to try and get back up front. And they were throwing players forward when they were looking the likeliest, certainly, to score their game's next goal. So first since April of 2021 for Katsuya Nagato. And he scored for Kashima Atlas at Konsa. Usami. Door was closed just in time. Then he goes down, appeals for the free kick. It will be forthcoming. Chance here for Gamba Osaka. Surely the only way they can have any hope is with the swiftest of responses here. So in the second season of Yokohama F Marinos, It's a timely moment to score his first goal for the club. Can Gamba Osaka respond in kind with a free kick of their own here? Takeshi Usami stands over it. Big moment. Usami, good effort, but not quite good enough. A strong sense inside this stadium that had to go in. It did not miss by much, but it didn't quite come back quickly enough. Two more changes for Gamba Osaka. They're going to take off Netalavi in midfield. Yuki Yamamoto will take his place, and as suspected, Musashi Suzuki is on as well. Alano making way. Is it too late for the Nerazzurri? Is it too late for Dani Poyatos? The pressure reportedly even before kick-off tonight. He will certainly be left to reflect on a number of nearly moments if this game does go against Gamba Osaka, as it looks like it will. Fukuda the target here. Hatanaka reached it, but couldn't keep hold of it. Usami takes over. Needed to be better for Davan. As a challenge maybe born out of frustration from the Brazilian. Catching his compatriot Anderson Lopez. Marinos' lead had looked such a fragile one, but all they have to do now really is maintain concentration, keep Gamba Osaka at arm's length. And this will be a vital away victory for the reigning champions. They had won back-to-back away games until defeat last weekend at Amberich Niigata. That was a first defeat in 4 on their travels. Kobe dropping points somewhat surprisingly earlier in the day at Kashiwa Reso. Will be back within 3 points of the summit. Kurokawa. Fujita did well initially. Will get another free kick here. Frustration is building for Gamba Osaka. Time is running out for Gamba Osaka. Back to his feet. He was on the receiving end this time. Lopez got something on it. Kurokawa goes back to Higashiguchi. So far it's been a very professional job from Yokohama F Marinos, certainly since scoring the second. It does seem as if that has taken the remaining sting away from Gamba Osaka. Drained away the belief that they could get anything from the game. Played badly today, far from it. There might still be something in it here for them. Well, neatly done and he just couldn't quite find the finish. Suzuki, still the chance maybe. Jabali's in there, unable to bring it down, unable to get his shot away. Just a little reminder for the tricolor, and it's not quite done yet. Anderson Lopez at the other end though. It would be all over if he could go on and make it 3. Himself outnumbered. His priority perhaps was just to hold on to it for as long as he could, and there's another late challenge. A apology is offered immediately by Watanabe. He's made the run here, and he has got to it first. Suzuki just couldn't quite squeeze it in. Took the goalkeeper out of the equation. Eduardo positioned importantly to deal with the danger. Keeper actually got a fingertip to that, and it might just have been going wide anyway, but Eduardo couldn't take the chance. Here's the corner into a dangerous area, but Ikura is not extended. He's made a bit of a difference, Musashi Suzuki, since coming on from Beerschot in Belgium last season. Back 2.5 years for his last Japanese cap. Does highlight some of the strength in depth in this Gamba Osaka squad. Serving really to underline why the club do not expect to be where they are at the bottom of the table. Marcos Jr. here in towards Fujita. Almost came for Anderson Lopez. And quickly, Marcos Jr. just went through the gears. There might be another goal in this yet. It's now looking like F Marinos are the more likely to provide it. 3-0 would certainly flatter them over the course of the contest. Fujita. Last couple of minutes of the 90, there's going to be an awful lot you would imagine to add on once we get to the 90. Takuya Kida, Fujita keeps it in. Marcos Jr. fell favourably for him. He takes it on, found the sweet spot with that. Turned over the top by Higashiguchi. If Marinos are almost there. This would have wrapped it up in some style. Movement on the shot. Despite the fact it was pretty much straight at the goalkeeper, he still had a bit to do with it. Higashiguchi. See from the reaction just how much this means to F Marinos, how much they needed to respond to the defeat that they suffered last week. They're waiting to make another couple of changes here. Kana Yoshio is going to come on for the 6th time this season off the bench, and Kota Mizunama, who scored the winner here last season, is on as well. Anderson Lopez and Kota Watanabe, the two to make way. So 5 games without a goal now for Anderson Lopez, but he has played his part today, putting his team in this position. Corner touch short to Marcos Jr. So just to wait for confirmation of the 7 additional minutes that there will be into the first of those. Plenty of contentious calls, plenty of drama and talking points throughout the course of this game. Excellent goals for Yokohama F Marinos. looks like returning them to winning ways. So, at the first opportunity after that defeated Alvarez Nagata 6 days ago. Back in League Cup action in midweek away at Concert on Wednesday. Gamba Osaka host Kyoto Sanga in that competition. 2 group games to go. Marinos have won the first 4. To sit well clear at the top of their section. Might break here for number 3 almost, and again, and well saved. Higashiguchi got down just to keep that one out from Mizunuma, who's only just come on and was almost straight on the score sheet. He and Yoshio heavily involved, having stepped on together as substitutes a couple of moments ago. It's going to be another away win, it would appear, in this fixture. It'll be the 5th in a row. The 3rd consecutive victory in Suita for F Marinos. Free kick for them to face here. Usually to get something on it, out as far as Jabali. Turn provider, but the cross too close to the keeper. Claimed comfortably by Ikura. Another frustrating evening really for Issam Jabali. Up top for Gamba Osaka. Fine margins. He just managed to stay onside. And opening the scoring, or appearing to open the scoring very early in the game, then who knows how differently this might have unfolded. There have been too many of those what-if moments this season for the Nerazzurri. Only avoided the relegation playoff last season by a point. This season, of course, only one team goes down, but at the moment they are adrift at the foot of the standings. Helped by Yokohama FC finding their form of late, winning 3 of 4. Yet there is enough quality in this squad to suggest it could be a different story. It just won't go in for them tonight, though. Not even deep into added time. Get the corner here. It appeared as if it might have been more for a moment. Usami is going to take it. The in-swinging delivery. It's headed out as far as Fukuda, who couldn't get the touch to it. Usami. He's offside, I think, yeah. They're almost out of time. Is he out of time? Interesting to see the powers that be will do from here. Next league game is a week tomorrow at Alvarez Nagata. There's a yellow card here for Ikura for taking a bit too long, I think. It looks a fairly routine away win, doesn't it, in terms of the scoreline? It's been anything but. It might yet even get bigger for F Marinos. Higashiguchi with the clearance. Referee lets that one go. Daman to Suzuki. Yamamoto with the touch. Okuhanda. With a couple more attacks maybe to try and withstand the goalkeeper's come. Get there decisively. Asami will chase after it. come back from Kurokawa. Usami. Barney still making a nuisance of himself. Again, there's no final ball. This will be an important win for Yokohama F Marinos in the context of their season. Currently without Ryotaro Sonoda. Metatarsal injury has sidelined the first choice centre-back this season. They have Riku Yamane actually away at the Under-20 World Cup in Argentina. It's about to get underway this weekend for Japan. They have the strength and depth in the squad. Kevin Muscat has built a reputation as a manager on utilising the depth in his squads, getting game time throughout the course of the campaign to pretty much everybody. They're all going to be needed if they are to retain their title, particularly with Champions League commitments to come later in the summer. Rearranged calendar for the upcoming season in the Asian Champions League. 7 added minutes here have been played. It is a hard-earned win for Yokohama F Marinos to move back up to second in the table, to move within 3 points again of top spot. They certainly had to work hard for this though. Goals from Nishimura in the first half and a free kick from Nagato to settle it in the second half when they were down to 10 men after the sending off of Matsupara. Second half that was fiercely fought, in which Gamba Osaka played their part. They felt some refereeing decisions went against them, and there was to be no way back when Nagato made it 2, as the 10 held on for a vital victory here and record a first away clean sheet of the J1 season. Some words of consolation from Kevin Muscat to Danny Poyatos, whose team suffer a 5th consecutive defeat in J1 to remain stranded at the foot of the table. Yokohama F Marinos returning to winning ways after that defeat last weekend, and how they needed to here. It's finished Gamba Osaka 0, Yokohama F Marinos 2. It's a scoreline that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story though, does it? It was very much in the balance. The 1-0 lead for F Marinos was looking a slender one after Matsupara was sent off. Gamba Osaka may well feel that he could have been sent off earlier in the game. They may well feel that Hatanaka should have been dismissed as well after a video review saw him see a yellow card produced rather than the red that had been maybe recommended by the video assistant referee. But F Marinos made the most of that reprieve. They took their chances. Nishimura scored a wonderful goal from a corner with a clever header in the first half, and Nagato scored his first goal for the club to settle it in style with a free kick at a stage of the game when they were really under pressure. He is all smiles, understandably, after that, because there was no way back for Gamba Osaka once the second went in. It's the Tricolor able to celebrate on their travels. 4th away win of the J1 season for the champions, and they showed the defensive discipline required to see the job through. The clean sheet will be a huge source of satisfaction for Kevin Muscat. Yet again, Gamba Osaka coming up short in front of goal. Jabali had his chances, might have been different had that one that he stuck away in the first half not been ruled offside. It was a marginal decision, but the correct decision. And for all their attacking threat, all their attacking energy and endeavour, certainly in the second half, certainly against 10 men, there was to be no way through for Gamba Osaka. Positives in the performance, once again not reflected by the scoreline. The story of their season so far, piling the pressure on their coach Danny Poyatos as a result of that. No wins in 8 games in all competitions now. But after what happened last week, F Marinos needed that. They bounced straight back at the earliest opportunity. And with Vissel Kobe dropping points earlier today, it's been an excellent weekend for the reigning champions. winning here for the third season in succession. Piling on the problems for Gamba Osaka as a result of that. Let's get some reaction for you.
チームが1人少なくなった中、貴重な追加点を挙げチームを勝利に導きました。今の気持ちをお聞かせください。
勝ててほっとしているのと、やっぱり先週負けて、今日の一戦がすごい重要だなと思ってましたし、退場っていうアクシデントはあったんですけど、チーム自体はもともとまとまってるんで、10人でも、チャンスがあれば1点取りたいなとは思ってましたし、それがまさか自分が取れるとは思ってなかったですけど、結果的に勝利っていう形になってすごい嬉しいです。
ご自身の今季初ゴール、直接フリーキック見事に決めました、素晴らしいゴール振り返っていただけますか？
なかなか、中に合わせる角度が難しかったんで、